And we do begin with breaking news tonight. A long and twisted case reached its breaking point as a jury delivered a swift verdict.
Now, after days of graphic testimony and clashing arguments, jurors found that Ryan Dumler was guilty of killing John Martin. Lauren Maxwell was in court today for closing arguments.
John Martin III died in June of 2023 behind the Global Credit Union off Diamond Boulevard. Martin was a convicted sex offender who gained notoriety in 2011 for protesting homeless policies in front of City Hall, and national headlines in 2018 when he tried to sail a small boat to China but landed in Russia instead. Prosecutors say at the time of his death, Martin was homeless and sleeping outside.
A helpless, defenseless man laying on the ground, sleeping, bothering no one. And he killed him.
Ryan Dumler is charged with killing Martin.
This is a parking lot, backs up to this curb right here.
Assistant Attorney General Daniel Shorey walked jurors through a series of security videos he says shows Dumler approaching Martin, arguing, then shooting him several times. Shorey detailed other evidence, including a black backpack.
That's what he had on him?
Confiscated from Dumler. Inside, a jacket that appeared to be the same from the video, and a gun an expert testified matched shell casings from the scene.
The murder weapon that was fired 8 times by Ryan Dumler when he killed an unarmed John Martin for no reason.
Dumler never took the stand, and defense attorney Rex Butler called no witnesses. In closing arguments, Butler said the state didn't prove Dumler's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
It is not enough that you believe a defendant is probably or likely, or even that the evidence shows a strong probability of guilt. The law requires more.
But jurors didn't hesitate. It took them less than 3 hours to find Dumler guilty on all counts, including murder in the first degree. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
And sentencing is expected sometime in late March. All right, the bill to release the Epstein files has become one step closer to becoming law.
And joining us in studio is political reporter Will Courtney, who confirmed today that Alaska's entire congressional delegation voted for this bill. Well, talk about the history here.
Right. Well, John, Rebecca, this bill has been moving through Congress very fast, and that all came after a petition received enough votes last week to force a vote. This bill, called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, cleared the House nearly unanimously, 427 to 1, and the Senate unanimously. Now, if signed into law, this bill will release files relating to Jeffrey Epstein to the public within 30 days.
All right, well, and we know that the bill now heads to President Donald Trump's desk. Do we know if he's going to sign it, and if so, when?
Yeah, well, John, we do expect him to sign this bill. That's what we understand. He not only encouraged Republicans to vote in favor of this bill, but also said he himself would sign it as well. As for when,
and in the very
a little
near
bit
future,
of a different question. Multiple national media outlets, including our CBS, report that Senate Majority Leader John Thune says the House will transmit or send the bill to the president's desk tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson, who voted for the bill, has also been a little bit critical of it, saying today it was flawed and needed amending in the Senate. Now, that didn't happen, and when I spoke with Senator Dan Sullivan this afternoon, he said he disagreed with the argument.
No, I don't see it as flawed. The key here on any of this, and I think the DOJ will have discretion, you have to protect the victims and survivors. These people, it's been horrendous how they've been victimized by this pedophile, a bad guy, and you don't want them to be victimized again.
And Senator Lisa Murkowski said on social media she also agreed with the bill as written. So right now, we're still waiting to see how and when the president will act.
Well, Courtney, thank you so much. And we will continue, of course, to follow this story this evening, and we'll keep you updated tonight on the late edition.
All right, thank you, Will. Happening now, the Anchorage School Board is meeting. One of the most contentious items on the agenda is the proposed closure of 2 elementary schools, both Fire Lake and Lake Otis. According to Superintendent Jarrett Bryant, Fire Lake Elementary School is at about 48% capacity, Lake Otis a little over 50%.
Now, under the proposal, students from the closed schools would be absorbed into schools in their surrounding neighborhoods. The administration has recommended that Fire Lake Elementary School building should be offered to Eagle Academy Charter School, and the Lake Otis School building be offered to Rilke Schule German Immersion Charter School. Vote is expected later in the meeting after the public comment period. Joe Allgood is at the meeting and will bring you the latest on the late edition. In Fairbanks, UAF is hosting a free online public workshop tomorrow with the focus on the reliability of news in 2025. The workshop is part of a monthly series about misinformation. They're talking about current trends that include billionaire media owners exerting editorial control. Another topic is the use of AI in reporting, also the rise of news influencers in the age of social media. You're encouraged to seek out a variety of perspectives and sources.
My perspectives are reinforced by the content that I interact with. And so the ability to get out of that and get a different perspective is crucially important for people when they are attempting to make decisions. So it's a little bit about credibility, and it's a little bit about just being aware of the bigger picture.
And the workshop is tomorrow from 11 to 11:30 in the morning with a recorded version on the university's website afterwards.
Now, if you'd like to read the gray policy on the use of AI in reporting, we encourage you to do so. On our website, in the drop-down menu in that upper left-hand corner, you will find gray AI policy.
Western Alaska is being hit with back-to-back storms, and we hear more winter weather is on the way.
Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us now with a first alert of some of the impacts that the storm will bring.
Yeah, we've been seeing this significant weather much of the week, but now another storm already on the way. Heavy snow, high wind again for Western Alaska. And we're going to see similar impacts for parts of Southeast as well. So again, here's a look at those next big impacts on the way as the second storm arrives in Western Alaska tonight, bringing that wind and snow all the way through Wednesday. We're also going to see high wind and mountain snow on the way for Southeast starting tomorrow. You can see those three storms lining up, one bringing the snow today to Western Alaska, that next one pushing across the Bering Sea as we speak. Those will bring those impacts overnight to Western Alaska, and then that area of low pressure out in the northern Pacific on the way for Southeast. Now let's look at those impacts out west. Again, snow and wind tonight through Thursday. We're looking at 5 to 12 inches of snow. Heaviest snowfall totals will be between Nome and St. Lawrence Island. That is also where we will see the strongest winds, but Kotzebue all the way down into the Yukon Delta, seeing the impacts of that wind-snow combination. Now in Southeast, high wind warning is in effect for those gusts of 50 to actually 60 miles per hour for Prince of Wales Island and for Sitka. That'll be during the day tomorrow. And further north, be prepared for that mountain snow out of Haines and Skagway along the Klondike Highway and Haines Highway, where we will see 5 to 10 inches of snow tomorrow into Thursday. We are seeing again those gray skies in Nome, temperature there at 20 degrees, much warmer though as you head down to Juneau at 42 with rain moving in. Anchorage holding at 30, and in those single digits tonight in Fairbanks. We do have a little light snow pushing through the Susitna Valley, a little deformation band setting up there. That'll squeeze out some light snow showers tonight, up to an inch or so in Talkeetna. Otherwise, the sunshine is back tomorrow for Anchorage and Fairbanks. Rain for Juneau, and it's that snow moving into Bethel with high temperatures there in the mid-30s.
A new children's comic book promoting online safety was launched at the Lusac Library this morning.
And we thought, who better to have these conversations but Sunny? So it took hours of interviewing with her. She had great feedback for us and ideas. Took a little time to translate, but I tell you, give her a treat and she'll just stay there and keep talking with you.
She's really calm about this whole thing, this sudden celebrityness. K9 Sunny's online adventures features Alaska State Trooper K9, who you saw there. She was receiving a new tablet and wondered what to do with it at first. The reader can choose which adventure Sunny goes on next.
Yeah, it's a lot more expressive in the comic book. The book teaches children about online safety, reminding them to always ask a parent first and encouraging parents to start having conversations with their kids.
It's this idea that kids are at home, they must be safe. Well, people may not be coming into the home physically, but they're able to come in remotely. So it's really knowing what are the programs kids are watching, what are they accessing.
The book was created by the Alaska Children's Trust. If you'd like to obtain your own copy, you can find this story on our website. And as we celebrate the 250th anniversary, the birth of America, we're looking back at our history, particularly right here in Alaska.
Do that more. Birth of America.
It's beautiful. I love that.
Director of Photography Eric Soul shows us the highlights from this week in Alaska's history.
This week in Alaska history, we've got a lot of good history this week. We always do. Alaska is such a deep and wonderful place. We got a couple stories about military history and Alaska's impact by World War II, a couple of large construction projects involving the Alcan and the Whittier Tunnel, the Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel. We have an Alaska Native leader who lived to be 117 years old. And some of his words were, do not ignore each other, take care of each other. We also have a frontier literature author who passed away this week in Alaska history. You may know some of his novels, Call the Wild and White Fang. That's all in Alaska history this week, and you can check it out on our free streaming platforms.
All right, and you can find all of This Week in Alaska History, all the segments on our free streaming platforms, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, or Roku.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.